Hello, Finance Oracle fans. How are you doing today? I hope you're just good. Well, today I will be spending some time with you because it's going to be like a heart-to-heart deliberation on the easiest way to getting a Canadian visit visa. I'm gonna be discussing this not just in terms of visiting Canada, but then how you can go to Canada as a visitor and end up living in Canada. In a legitimate way, not in some, wrong and crooked manner. So I would like you to pay attention because I'm going to spend time and I will go in detail at the point I have to read out notes which I've made on this. I have made a well-researched work on how you can move to Canada. I can say this is the easiest and fastest way to move to Canada. So guys, I would like you to pay attention. I would like you to grab a note and make some points, or if you think you want to get something right, you can go back a bit, get it right, note it down, and forge ahead. And don't be in a hurry to quit this video. Start from beginning and try as much as possible to the end. Don't at the point assume you've gotten all the information and quit. Because even until the very end of this video, I'm going to be making a great point. I've taken time to make research and I have information that I'm so sure that if you follow it up the way I will say it in this video, it will become very easy for you to move to Canada. Okay? One of the reasons why I've said that this is the easiest way to come to Canada because currently, if you move to Canada with a visiting visa, and if you find a job, you will be able to convert your visiting visa to a work permit and stay in Canada. And if you live in Canada for additional 3 years, you will be qualified for a permanent residency. If you also move to Canada and you find an admission, you will be able to convert your visiting visa to study permit, and this will enable you to stay in Canada and you get a post-study visa, and after 3 years you'll be able to get a permanent residency. But it is important for you to ensure that the school which you're applying to is eligible to grant you a post-study permit. Not every school in Canada grants post-study permit, so this you must research before you apply while on visiting visa. Okay, so these are crucial things you need to know, and these are the reasons why I think that the best option you have in 2024 and the fastest and quickest option is the visiting visa to Canada. Okay, and this costs you just $100 Canadian dollars for the application fee. You fill out the form and you pay another 85 Canadian dollar for biometrics, and that is all you need to spend for this visa. Okay, and the information I will be dropping now, you do not need any agent or even anyone to help you do it. You will be able to do it by yourself. So that is why I said be very patient and follow up to the end of this very video. Okay, so like I've said, this remains the easiest option. Now if someone invites you, because sometimes you have friends or relatives in Canada and they are afraid, if I invite him and he decides not to come back, I'll become the victim. Let him know that he is not legally responsible for your actions if you choose not to come back from Canada. So if I invite you, irrespective of the fact I invited you and I say I know you very well, still by law, I am not legally responsible for your actions because you're an adult. You decided to do it, and you are the one who will face the law if the law caught up with you. But then the question is that you also need to tell him simply that I also have the right as a visitor in Canada to find a job and convert it to work permits. This is known by everyone who is in Canada currently, and this is what I'm also going to emphasize in this video. So needless should anyone be afraid of inviting someone to come to Canada, inviting relatives or friends, or because there is an open window, an open invitation by the Canadian government for you to convert your visiting visa to work visa or study permit. Okay? Yeah, so this is very important that we know this. So the first thing, if someone is inviting you or if you're inviting someone you're in Canada, the first thing you need to do when writing the invitation letter is number one, you need to state your occupation, okay, your full name, your occupation. If you have residency permit, you have to state the number. If you have citizenship, you have to also state that you're a citizen of Canada, and you put down your particulars. Those things has to be in the letter. If they are not in the letter, if they're incomplete, then this will not be honored when you upload it in the IRCC portal. The Canadian government will not honor it. So this is very important. So those details is important. You can also go on Google and get sample invitation letter for Canadian, for someone inviting someone to come to Canada. Okay, yeah. So if you'll be staying with that person in his apartment, he should include it. So that will be requiring them to know the details of the apartment, what kind of apartment he has. So you need to include, you are going to be accommodating that person, okay? If you're not accommodating him, then you need to have, you who is going to need to have a document that shows that you have made accommodation arrangement, which should be a hotel, okay, showing the name of the hotel, your reservation. You need to have details about this hotel. Then another thing you need to state in that letter of invitation is relationship. It's not necessarily important for the person to be a blood relationship, blood relative. He could be just your friend, but then you have to establish enough information to show that this guy is my friend and we are close, and that's why we want to meet again, spend some time together. You know, there should be a relationship established, otherwise it will not also be honored. Of course, because you live in Canada, you should include your utility. The more information you include, the better for your invitation to go through, okay? You can include your utility bills showing this is where you live in Canada. It becomes proof of where this guy lives in Canada and is genuine. Your tax document also is very important, so you can put up as much information as possible. This will make it very much easier and possible for the one whom you invited to come over to Canada. Okay. Now, as long as you can establish your connection, this is okay. You don't need to be a blood relative, like I've said earlier on. Okay, for someone whom you're inviting or who is inviting you. Yeah. Again, if you are rejected or refused, make sure that the reason for your earlier refusal has been addressed. Probably you were refused because you didn't have strong ties in your country. Now you've married. It's been 4 years ago. You are married. You've got children. You've got resources like money, or you've got a wife in your home country. You've got like money in the bank, landed property, a house. You know, all these kind of things. A job, a well-paying job. Then you in that case also you need to get a letter or showing that your company is aware you want to travel for visiting, and again a letter showing that you have a job. So this much information you will need to add them in your application when applying, okay? And these documents you have to carry along with you even when moving. Okay, that's by the way. So ensure that the reason for refusal or rejection has been addressed, okay? Another thing you need to do is to ensure that you do not have criminal history. If you have criminal history, there is no way they will let you into Canada. So you ensure that you can prove this by getting a police clearance certificate, but that is not enough. Assuming you have criminal history in the US, US share a lot of information with Canada, so you may be surprised that your information has been shared to Canada. Okay, so ensure you do not have any criminal history or background. Yeah, this is very important. So you also need to ensure that you're of good health. You do not have any medical history that is endangering to people who of Canada or where you're going to. Okay, and you should be willing and out to attend a medical checkup if it is required. If they suspect or they think they want to ask you for medical checkup, you should be prepared to carry out that checkup in a designated or approved hospital without, trying to bypass it, because it will not work. Yeah, this is very important. So just like I told you, I'm not going to be fast. I'm not going to rush. Ensure you're taking down these informations, as much information as you get. It will help you. I mean, if you've been rejected before, I think this is a wonderful opportunity for us to discuss, because I've had a lot of experience. I've visited places like US, which is one of the most difficult places to get a visa. And I, went through the interview process. I went through the application process. So I know what it looks like. I've been to many other countries, at least about a total of 8 countries I've been to. So I know what it looks like traveling and getting visas to move to a country. So take this information very seriously. It will help you a great deal, okay? Yeah. Another thing you need to ensure is that you have strong ties in your home country. Yeah, there are many ways to establish strong ties in your home country. I've said a few of them. I've got a wife in Nigeria, where I've come from. So if I'm leaving my wife behind, it means that I have a strong tie in Nigeria. Maybe I've got children, it becomes strong ties. I've got landed document or house, it becomes strong tie. If I have a job, a well-paying job, not just any job, maybe you're a chef in one small restaurant. I mean, I'm not trying to say chef is not a good job, don't think that way. But I'm saying that this will not serve as a strong tie. Okay, but if you're an engineer, a medical doctor, an accountant, maybe you're even a carpenter, but with Julius Berger, a reputable company, then that makes it, that becomes also a strong tie, okay? If you got money in the banks, it becomes strong tie. So this level of things, I mean, you don't have to say I've got grandfather and my father in Nigeria and stuff like that. It will not be enough reason to establish strong tie. You can decide to leave them and run away. But your immediate family is your responsible, so they see that as strong ties. The money, the resources you have, and that much information is quite important, okay? Yeah, this is it. Now, another thing that is important is you also need to remember what I've said earlier on, that the US and Canada share a lot of information. So even rejection, they may ask you, have you been rejected in any country? You say, no, because you are where you are applying to Canada. Yes, fine and good. But because the US and Canada share a lot of information, Canadian government could see that you were rejected in USA and you said no. You should be as much as possible, be transparent and say, yes, I was rejected. They will ask you, what is the reason? You say, this is the reason. So if you've done that, then this becomes very clear to them that this was the reason why you were rejected. And that reason is fair enough. Now you've made some corrections. Probably you didn't have strong ties, you didn't have resources. Now you've got resources. So they find a reason why you should be able to go to the US. So this is very important, guys. Yeah. So if you've done all this, you've gotten all your documents ready, including application letter, which is very important. Of course, your passport, which is at least 6 months validity, has 6 months validity, and at least 2 empty passport pages. Then this become very now you're ready for application. So what you have to do is you decide, you fill out your application form. In some places you can do online and physical application. In most places you do only online application. So you decide what kind of application you want to do and go on and fill out the application form. The application form itself also needs a lot of carefulness. You need to put a lot of details. In fact, what I did, like when I wanted to visit the US, I put on a lot of details and I ensured I had backup of these details in such a way that if I'm called up anytime, I've studied it time and again, I'm able to present it clearly. Some people who make mistakes in the details not because they are lying. No, they didn't say any lie in the information they fill, but they were not able to remember exactly what they've written. Not everything is very exact, like your date of birth you remember. There are certain things you may not remember to put. Let's say you've worked in 4 companies and they ask you where you work, you may skip one, especially in an interview mood, or even not in an interview mood. Some other time you may just feel like, did I even put this or did I not? That kind of thing. So it is important for you to ensure that you have a backup of the information you've put. And try to be sensitive to the questions they ask. Make as much research as possible on Google. I have a video on visa, how to go through visa application and visa interview. So you can also love to watch that video. We paste the, I will try to paste the link to that video here in this video. Yeah, so it will also help you to prepare for interviews, for visa application and others. So make research, watch videos, try to find out what people have done rightly and what people do that backfire on them. It will help you to fill out your application form correctly. Like I've said, application fee is 100 Canadian dollars, which is not a huge amount of money. And again, biometrics is about 85 Canadian dollars, okay? So for you to apply, you will need to create a GCK account for you to be able to apply in the IRCC portal. So it is important to create a GCK account, otherwise you will not be able. It's going to be your window, your gateway within you and Canadian government, okay? And this can be done in IRCC portal. As much as possible, I also drop the link in the description section. Most of the time when I say in description section, people go to comment section to watch. No, hit on the video description, then you get this information, okay? Yeah, so that is where you can apply for this visa for yourself online. Yeah, and if someone is representing you, your application, you have to state that someone is representing you like an agent. So you authorize them, you'll be asked to click on authorization for them to represent you. So you have to indicate this also while applying for your visa. So you fill the form and upload all the documents. Yeah, now the reason why I told you that visiting visa is the easiest way to move to Canada without stress and still retain your stay in Canada is because as of 2023, the Canadian government on February 28, 2023 said that if you have a visiting visa to Canada, you can convert it without sweating to a work permit or to a study permit, or even if you marry, you can also convert it and rejoin with your partner. So if you find a wife or a husband while visiting Canada, you can also marry and you can stay back without hesitating. So all these opportunities are there for you to move to Canada. I didn't say you should go to Canada and start looking for people's daughter, but it is up to you. But I'm saying that this opportunity is being given by the Canadian government. So now this is renewed until 2025. So until February 28, 2025, if you move to Canada on a visiting visa, you have the right to find a job and stay back in Canada. So you can see. And mostly, yeah, though their visa process have been stretched, especially during the admission process, now it's a bit fair. Visa process for you to get a visiting visa to Canada is about 28 working days, okay? Yeah, so it doesn't take a long time. So if you prepare your document as I'm speaking, probably if I call you in April, you're already in Canada, or in May, early May, you might be in Canada. So it is something worth doing. It doesn't cost much. It's not too difficult to get these documents. I can get them in a week. All these documents, yeah. So now, after 3 years, okay, you can apply for a PR. So this is why I told you the easiest way, instead of struggling with what you cannot achieve. Also, you don't need to show you have $30,000, $28,000 for a family of 5. You can just visit alone. Even if you want to go with your family, you don't need to show that much money because it's not a PR. You just need to show you have money, you want to stay 2 weeks, you have money to take care of you for 2 weeks. So you can see why this is a very easy way to move to Canada. Okay, well, I know a lot of people will come down with their question in the comment section. If you have a question, do not write to me on Facebook or on WhatsApp to ask your questions. I will not attend to it. Ask your question on the comment section of this YouTube video so that other people can also benefit from the answer. Because what happened is that some person have met me or know me in real life or have gotten my number in one way or the other. So they don't ask the question on YouTube and they come to me in my private space to to ask questions. I mean, as much as I love helping, yeah, unless you're going to consult me and you're going to pay me, then I will answer all those questions. But as much as you're not doing that, better you ask it here, irrespective of our relationship and our friendship, so that other people can benefit. Because instead of me to answer 20 different people on WhatsApp, it is easier I answer one person and 20 other person raise it, or 19 other raise it, and it takes care of their questions, okay? Then if there is need, I think that your question is very private, I will request you to send me an email or chat me up on my private space that we can talk more on your question. I hope this is fine. Yeah, okay, yeah. So let's kick up and continue to move. Now, you need to prepare, very importantly, you need to prepare for your arrival. Some persons are being granted visa. They rejoice, they celebrate with their family, with their friends. They even sell their properties, their cars, their house, whatever it is, and move to Canada. At the point of entry, they are being turned about. This is not about Canada only. I mean, every other place in the world, including UK, US. US is like the big tiger in this. But then, guys, this is because you didn't prepare for your arrival. For you to prepare for your arrival, you need to ask questions. You need to make research. You need to get articulated. You need to get into details. You need to document what you've said during your, either interview or during your application process. In most cases, it's not, you are not going to be interviewed again, but during your application process. This is very important. So if you do this, what happens is that at the point of entry, you can be refused, like I said. Now, why? The information you have put in during your application process, they are all available to the consular, the visa counselor at the point of entry. Those immigration men you see that will interview you, that will take your passport and say, you, now you be this. Those guys you see have all your information. So you've written that I'm gonna be going to Canada to spend 2 weeks. At the point of entry, you're so excited, and they said to you, oh, come on. Hello guys, they say, oh well, I will just stay for 6 months, or I will stay for 2 weeks and three months or 1 month. Then already it is a red signal flag. You're lying. You're wearing transparent from beginning. Something is wrong with your inconsistency. This guy needs to go back home, and they will send you back home. I mean, this is gonna be the worst thing that will happen to anyone. Don't pray for it. There were a set of guys that, they were taken to Canada, and the first group, they were divided into two and they were briefed. The first group were all stamped. At the point of entry, they stamped them and they went in quietly. The second group got in. At the point they stamped for them and they just crossed the immigration, they started jumping and rejoicing. And they said, no, security, bring those people back. Cancel. All of them cancelled, repatriated. Why were they so excited? Okay, they're coming for a conference. Why they excited their visa got stamped? This is the question. Which means these guys are not going to come back ever in life. In fact, they're not going to visit their countries. It's just as serious as that. So it is important for you to prepare for your arrival. You need to be consistent with the information you supply. This is like the biggest catch. If you're inconsistent, immediately it sends a red signal flag, and these guys will kick you out. So this is very important, guys. You may also need more documents, and this may include authorization for minor. You've got minor child who is not your child. You need an authorization to minor that the parents are aware you're taking them for a sporting event, for an academic event, for a tourist event, for whatever research event, whatever it is. If it's even your own child, probably you're not traveling with the two parents. You're not traveling with the mother, or you're not traveling with the father. They may decide to call the father to say, are you aware your wife is traveling with your son? Once he says no, that is the end. The same thing can happen to the man too if you're traveling with it, because they don't know if you're running away with a child who is not up to 18 years of age. So this is important for you to get this kind of document. Some people have refused entry because they didn't get this document. And when you've refused entry, how will you manage to come back again? It becomes difficult. A lot of questions have been, arises. And again, even if it is during interview or during port of entry, if you have been asked a question and you have become inconsistent, or you did not practice well and you stammer, yes, because of this, I will be saying, or let's say, for example, you said you're going to stay in Hilton Hotel, okay, in Alberta, and they asked you which hotel will you stay. You say, I will stay with. Let me check. You not say Hilton Hotel. The first thing that will arise in their mind is, this guy really sure he has a booking in Hilton Hotel? They say, okay, can I see a booking? Who made this booking for you? Did you make it yourself or an agent? This kind of questions. So as they ask you, stammer more, you become more confused, then they will now have more need to ask you more questions. So be prepared for every eventuality. What questions they will ask at port of entry, the kind of questions, they are regular questions. They ask in every point of entry, regular questions. So research this, then you will be good to go. Okay? I hope we are minuting or putting down this point so that it will help you. Okay? Take it as serious as that. This is if you want to make it to your port of, or to your destination. Okay? Okay. The next thing that is very important is, what is the purpose of stay? If they ask the purpose of stay, you've written you are going for a sporting conference or for an academic conference, and suddenly you say, I'm going to see my friend, I'm going to see my relative, I'm just coming to cool off. Or you even say you're going to relax or for tourism, and when you come to Canada, they told you, what is your itinerary, your visiting itinerary? Said, I'm just going to cool off, I want to cool off in Canada a bit. And they will be like, don't you have a village to cool off? Don't you have a city to cool off? So you must ensure that you're well prepared for this kind of questions, okay? Your length of stay, this is a very important question. You need to say your length of stay, and it has to be consistent, remember. And again, you say you're a manager in your country, and you say you're gonna stay for 6 months, and they ask you, you're gonna stay for 6 months? You say yes. Oh, this is quite a long time. But if you say yes, because I have a long time leave, I'm having some physical stress, I think I need to cool off for a long time, and you have an evidence showing that your company is aware you're staying, they're giving you 6 months leave, then you're good to go. But if you have a leave of 1 month and you're staying for 6 months, you're running away from the company. In fact, they are sending you back because maybe you have stolen the company money, and that's why you're running. So you should be able to understand these things. That's why I'm taking my time to have a heart-to-heart discussion tonight, even when it is only me that's presenting this now. It's like a heart-to-heart discussion, because I want to present it in a way that you understand it and see the importance of these informations, okay? Yeah. Now you need to have, another reason why you may be rejected, even at port of entry or during the visa process, is insufficient documents. You have said you have a hotel booking, provide it. You are going for a conference program, show the letter, invitation to the conference. Why are they inviting you? Are they inviting everyone? Or because you're the one representing your institution, your community, or because you've applied for it? You need to show, yes, I applied for it, I want to go. And they invite. You need to show enough information. And another reason is incomplete form. You didn't complete your form. Some things you think they are not compulsory, but they are necessary. You didn't put them down. Because you could submit without filling them, you submitted. That's why before you submit your form, you have to go through it time and again, over and over again, like 3 or 4 times, and you are satisfied. Maybe a quick flip, no problem. First one should not be a quick flip, second one should not be a quick flip, but 3 and 4 can be a quick flip. Then you submit. It's very important. And if you're staying in a hotel, remember what I've told you earlier on, okay? Get your hotel booking ready. If you're invited by a friend, go with your invitation letter, even to the port of entry. You should have a small document bag. Then they say, oh, who invited you? When were you invited? Who is it? You should be able to say, yeah, my friend James Switch invited me. This is the invitation letter. We've been friends. If they ask you, don't say what is unnecessary, but if they ask you, They may want to know how you knew him or what you've been through together. You can say. But if they don't ask, don't say it. Sometimes they ask you this question, they're smiling. How did you know him? Have you been friends? You just say, I barely know him, but he's been nice to me. Don't barely know him, it will not work. So this is very important, okay? I just want to sound this way. Yeah. Another thing is, like I've said, prepare for more and more questions. Another thing that may set a red signal flag is inadequate financial resources. You want to spend 1 month in Canada and you're going with $8,000. It may not take care of you as a visitor, okay? As a visitor, it will not take care of you. So if you're going with $5,000, $4,000, okay, fine. They can understand this, okay? 1,000 is for your feeding, 1,000 is for your hotel and stuff, transport, okay, this other one's for, That means you're prepared for the visit because they don't want you to be a nuisance in Canada and start begging people money or become stranded, become homeless, stuff like that, and become a criminal. Another thing is lack of travel history, but this is not, don't be too afraid. I've seen people who went to US, got a visa, Canada, Australia, other places who have never traveled before in their life. But lack of travel history can also make your application to be looked into more, investigated more, unlike someone who has had travel histories, okay? So this is important. If you have a wife, children, assets, then it becomes very great for you. I've said this, I've stressed it, I've emphasized it, so I don't want to repeat it again. They want to see strong ties to your home country, okay? Yeah. Then incomplete or convincing travel itinerary. You want to go to Canada to spend 1 month. Should have a travel itinerary. Say, I will be in Alberta for 1 week. After which I will move to Toronto. Why I want to move to Toronto is I want to see University of Toronto and I want to meet a particular faculty whom I have been exchanging letter with and want to discuss some research interests. I want to go and see this. Fall. I want to see this site. I want to do these kind of things. Then they have week 1. You want to do this week 2, week 3, week 4. You want to, Then it becomes very. They may not ask you, but sometimes they may. So it becomes very easy and convincing. Okay, for them to grant your visa or to grant you entry into Canada. Another one is misrepresentation or fraudulent documents. Sometimes you say what you are not, or you attach a fraudulent document or information. So this will immediately disqualify you once they find out. So if you are doing it, be aware that to not just disqualify you, they may give you a 10 years ban. So this is why it's dangerous. So as much as possible, stay truthful and give the informations that will help you to get into the country without being a threat, or being seen as someone who is fraudulent, okay? Medical condition also can stop you. If you have a virus, a disease, an epidemic, whatever it is, a disease that can spread or that can endanger the people, they may decide not to let you in. Again, if you have a criminal record, they may not let you in. If you have also had history of overstaying, then this is also not too good for you, okay? Yeah. So it is not good to have history of overstaying. Now I want to make some notes and I would like you to just see this note. I'm going to take some excerpt from this note to expatiate how you can stay in Canada permanently without coming out from Canada before renewing your visa. Now to convert your visiting visa, to work permit, these are the simple process. Number 1, you have to apply for visitor's visa. Now you have a valid job offer when you arrive. Then number 3, you have to get a positive LMIA, okay, labor market impact assessment, because there should be a labor market impact assessment for that to fly. Now you need also, this is not you, this employer will get this for you. Then you need also to apply for an LMIA based work permit. Then you apply for interim work authorization. Then you start working without leaving the country. So these are how it is. So this is a temporary policy which has been extended till February 2025. Okay, so I want you to be aware to February 28, 2025. This is valid. Okay, and the conversion step is very simple. This is where I've stated you just apply for a visiting visa, and you go through this process which I've told you. Okay, yeah, there is also what will happen after this period. There will be what we call post-temporary policy flag potting. Okay, flag pulling, post-temporary policy flag pulling. Well, flag pulling will happen after this has expired, 28 February 2025 has come and gone. Then you have to flag pull, and this means that you have to leave Canada. You have to exit Canada through the US border, and you now apply for a work permit and re-enter Canada. So this is another way to flag pull, okay? And this is another way that people can also do this, and it's legal, so it's not a problem. So you can do this, okay? Yeah, so now what is interim work authorization? Now if you're applying for a job in Canada and you have recently visited there, okay, with a valid work permit, you can also follow some special instructions to get an interim work authorization. This will allow you to start working for a new employer before your work permit is finalized. But this, by the way, this may not be exactly your case, but if you're visiting Canada and maybe your work permit is not finalized, you can also get an interim work authorization and start working while you're applying for this permanent work permit. So that's fine. To be eligible to apply, an applicant must have these criteria, must meet this criteria. One, you must have a valid status in Canada as a visitor, not as an illegal immigrant. On the day you apply, so there's no way, if your visiting visa has applied, then you cannot. Number two, you need to have a job offer supported by labor market impact assessment, okay, or exempted by labor market impact assessment, either of the two. Okay, and number three, you need to apply before 28 February 2025. And lastly, you need to meet other standard admissible criteria in Canada. So this is important. If you can do these things, then you are good to go to Canada and start working. So let me just get some other information that will be helpful, which I have noted down. Okay, yeah. Okay, for you to apply for visiting visa, I've told it's $100 and biometrics it's 5 Canadian dollars. Okay, and you need to have a proof that you will leave the country after you're visiting. You don't have to tell them, when I read that I'm going to find a job and I will stay back. First, you should have a proof you're coming back. If you find a job, good for you. Then you can stay back. Okay, yeah. Then also provide sufficient funds to maintain yourself and any accompanying family member that will move to Canada with you. Be in good health and be willing to conduct medical examination if it's necessary. Okay, you need to have you do not need to have criminal record, and you'll be willing to get a police verification if it is needed. Okay, be able to provide all supporting documents that are being requested by the visa officer. If you don't provide this, then it may mar your opportunity to stay back in Canada. Okay, and the processing time is 28 days. I want you to take note of all this. Okay, yeah. So now there are certain things they look at, or if you want to apply, you have to decide whether you're going to apply online or in person. Okay, I've said that. So when you apply, complete a visa application form online, and all necessary information, make sure you put them correctly. Make a certified check or bank draft payment for the visa processing cost. You have to pay for your cost for your visa. Bring your passport photo, your international passport, your photo, and other documents that are being needed. Okay, you must provide your fingerprint and photograph during biometrics, otherwise you'll not get into Canada. And to get Canada visa, visa application center, and submit your visa application form, you need to go to any Canada application center if you're doing physically, or you can do online. Okay, and you need to get a receipt from the application center with your unique tracking number on it so that you can track your application process. Okay, this is very important. You can track your application progress online and see what is happening to it. Okay, now getting a job offer also is important when you arrive. So you have limited time, so you need to immediately start applying for jobs. And for you to get a job, you may need to start applying on time, or you may need to do extreme research before moving, or you might also need to request agents to find a job for you. Be aware that you have limited time, so it is very important for you to do this as smart as possible. So you need to research for the jobs. You need to understand the labor market opportunities in your destination. Even before going to Canada, I mean, you don't just go to any province. You have to check, for my kind of job, are there jobs in this province? Because you want to stay back, right? That is why it is important. And you can match your NOC code with the in-demand job. You check, is my NOC code an in-demand job? Am I going to quickly, you know? So this is very important. So it means that you're going to find a job in that province very quickly. Yeah, so you can also hunt for job in online, in Indeed, Glassdoor, you know, other application portals online. And you apply directly to the employer's website and hit up the application process. And you can also make use of your friends and family who are in Canada, your contacts in Canada, to find a job. Okay, so this is important. Yeah, you get positive LMIA. This is very important, and a few other things you may want to do. So converting your visiting visa to work permit in Canada, there are processes. One, I told you, there is a 2 years opportunity for you to do this. Otherwise, you may have to flag pull after this interim or this time has passed. But then if for any reason this has been delayed, you can get an interim authorization to work, which is valid for up to 135 days, which within this period, you must have gotten your visa approved. So I'm trying to wrap up. You can ask your questions as much as possible. I'll answer them in the comment section, okay? So I'm just going through the note I've made, so I'm going to be wrapping up as soon as possible. So you also need to get professional help from licensed consultant when you think that you cannot do it yourself. I mean, to find a job, even to apply for the visa. But the application for visa ticket is not a very big or difficult deal if you gather all these documents, okay? Yeah, there are a number of questions and answers, but maybe as you ask your questions, I will be answering them one after the other. So guys, this is the information I have for you for this video. I do not know how much this video have impacted you or have motivated you or have made you convinced that you can actually move to Canada through this route. If this is the case, why not give it a thumb up and share this with your friends and your colleagues and appreciate this video. I mean, this is the only thing you can do for us. I mean, if you want to say thanks, we've got the link for super thank. If you want to be a member of this channel, you can also join. It's not costly or very difficult to join as a member of this channel. But then the important thing is, are you going to get the information which will bring out, you know, to you at your doorstep? Are you going to be among the first to get this information? Some information will drop first in the membership section to allow those who are members to first peruse them before I drop it in public. And again, as very soon I will not attend to the numerous questions that comes to my inbox. If you are not a member of the channel, I mean, I'm persuading you to join. I appreciate those who are my regular visitors, but if you are a member of the channel, you may have some added advantages, so you may consider joining as a member. But then if you are not a member, I really appreciate you and I want you to be consistent. Go through these videos and try to do something for yourself. Don't just waste your time, 20 minutes of your time, watching this video without taking action. So guys, a quick recap is that it is very important and very easy for one to move to Canada, coming through with the visiting visa route, and on visiting Canada, you can find a job and obtain a work permit, or find a study and obtain a study permit, or even get married and get a family visa. Okay, so guys, this is it. I trust this will help you, and my earnest prayer is that God help you so that you achieve your migration dream. So guys, this is it. Congratulations to you. Cheers.